I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We welcome to the show SelBriel. Hi.
Hello.
Please introduce yourself to everybody.
Hello. I am SelBriel. I'm a demon empress that has taken over an empire. And I'm pretty much working on that.
Well, I mean, that's a good start.
I'm expanding.
That's a pretty good start. I mean, Demon Empress Empire. I mean, you can work from that, can't you?
Yeah.
Most folks don't get that kind of start.
Right?
You get to work from the top down.
I kind of stole it, and yeah.
That's okay. As long as you got it now. Finders keepers.
Yes.
Hey, when did you get started with the VTubing thing?
About a year ago. It's a little over a year ago.
Yeah. Is it a case of you really wanting to do something online and found YouTubing to be the thing, or did you follow YouTubers before that? VTubers, I said.
So it was more like my best friend was streaming in general.
Yeah.
And I have a weird love for anime. So I'm like, hey, let's smash that together.
Yeah.
And we already technically had an OC made up. And I'm like, let's put that on the screen and see how that goes.
And how did it go right off the bat?
Overwhelmingly well.
Oh, really? Oh, good. That's good to hear. I hear so many folks say, well, we were there.
Right?
Yeah.
As soon as I had a VTuber pretty much in hand, it shot off first on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a rapid growth onto Twitch.
Yeah, well, that's good. Again, it sounds like you're starting from the top and working your way.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Now we've kind of like we're like a plateau of growing now, and I'm like, that's okay. But we're still going up a little bit at a time.
You're filling in the gaps as it goes. Just don't worry about that. It'll be fine.
Yes.
So, I mean, have you always been a performing type of person, wanting to get in front of people?
No.
No.
I'm super antisocial. As I say, all the time.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you can still, have the germ in you that you want to get up and at least show what you got in front of people.
Well, yes. But in general, if I were face to face on a stage, I would be absolutely petrified.
Yeah.
And that's also part of the whole VTuber thing. I don't have to worry about my appearance or how I'm acting, pretty much, besides the words coming out of my mouth.
And what people just can guess what room you're in and what if you're hanging from the ceiling or whatever you're doing. It's you get to be comfortable while still being yourself and not having to worry about it.
Yes,
well,
basically.
Yeah, and I hear a lot of folks who are not the most socially active, but I hear the other side too. I mean, people get into it for all sorts of different reasons. You were already an anime fan before you started this. Which types of animes did you watch, or is it all of them?
It's so many. In general, my watch list is like up to 50 right now.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I am so behind on all of those. My first one was Black Butler.
Yeah.
And I spiraled.
it just went out. So what is your favorite type? What if you were to describe the perfect anime for you without even seeing any of it, what would it be?
How, like comedy romance
Mm.
with like some battle stuff in it.
Comedy
Like
romance,
oddly specific.
comedy romance with robots. Yes, kind of Gundam
There are
love.
some.
Valentine's Day Gundam shows would be perfect for.
Maybe I would at least give it a shot.
So is it just the animes themselves, or is it the culture around them that you're attracted to, or both?
It's kind of both.
Mm.
It's just overall neat and cool, and it's like a way to escape into a story.
Mm.
And that's, again, it's like I jump into actual books all the time,
Right.
and it's like a second thing for that,
Yeah. Books. Somebody's reading
an
books.
escape.
Someone is reading books in the year 2024.
Yes, I read books. I'm surrounded by them actually right now.
Oh my gosh. I might have to get a defibrillator for that one. but really it shows what the field of anime has done. It's kind of replaced a lot of things for people. Um, People used to get involved in storylines on regular network television and other types of things, but once they got a kind of a hint of what anime has to offer, and there's how many different types of anime. Every, there's an anime about a deer going to school, for crying out loud. and
Yes.
and um in all of that, they find something that gets them involved in it, to the point where they can't wait for the next one to come up. They'll just binge watch all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a
I
binge?
mean, I literally wait till the whole thing is out, and then I watch the entire thing in like one day.
You can't wait. You gotta wait. Gotta get the whole. And you're not gonna wait for the whole elephant to show up. You have to wait for the whole elephant to show up. You're not gonna eat it by parts.
Yes.
That's pretty
It's
cool.
like I'm too impatient. I can't.
So does that anime type of genre go into the type of games that you play?
Not really. No.
So what type of games are you
I
usually playing?
It's usually cozy type games.
Mm.
Like I started with Stardew. That's what me and my best friend started out on,
Mm-hmm.
and it was only on her channel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then once she stopped, it grew onto mine. So we just kept finding similar games to that, and then I'm like, I'm getting kind of bored with these farming games all the time.
Yeah.
So now we've expanded into survival-like games and trying to have games that are more of a challenge for me.
Well, I mean, they say you can only play Stardew so many times, but I'm the guy who's got over 30 save files, so I could keep playing it.
I probably have quite a few, yeah.
And going back to some save files that probably won't even work now because it was on the old but before any updates came in, so they probably wouldn't even work now at this point. So the games that you play now, what would be a title that you would be into at the moment?
We just started up Conan Exiles again.
Okay.
And we've done stuff like Icarus, which we're probably going to go back to at some point because we didn't finish the DLCs. And we have Medieval Dynasty in the lineup right now too.
So are these all the type of survivalist games where you kind of build from nothing, or what are they types?
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
It's pretty much you spawn with only the clothes on your back,
Mm.
and you start picking up rocks and sticks, and you have to unlock recipes.
Yeah.
And the more stuff you find, or the more XP you build, the more stuff unlocks.
Mm. Yeah.
Um, and with a lot of those, you end up fighting bosses to expand what you're doing.
Okay. So if you want to go from one level to another, as far as the game goes, you have to beat a certain boss or a certain group anyway.
For some of the games, yeah.
Yeah. You know, this has that gone over well with the chat so far?
Yeah.
Wow.
They seem to enjoy it,
Yeah.
and it makes for a lot of funny clips for them. So
Are they backseating you while you're doing this, or you tell them not to?
um randoms will come in and they'll backseat, and I'm like, okay, you can do it a little bit, but don't spoil the actual story, because there are storylines along in the game.
Oh, of course. Oh, by the way, that
I'm
character
like,
dies.
yeah, basically. It's like, don't tell me that.
That character that you just married, yeah, they die.
It's
Oh,
like, I probably knew, but you didn't have to, like, rip it out of me. Like,
oh, this kind of ends the whole game right there. Okay, tomorrow we'll be doing something different.
yes.
So the average person that comes into your stream, obviously you start off pretty quick. Have you been able to keep a good level since you started, or has it fluctuated a little bit since then?
It's gone, like, steadily increased
Mm-hmm.
just a bit.
Yeah.
It's between 10 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously people come in and out.
Right.
So to keep that steady level, I'm like, okay, that's kind of impressive.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially right off the bat, and being able to keep a hold of it and go from there. It's the folks that come back, and again, that goes right back to your personality. They're coming back for you, not the games at that point.
Yes.
Especially this far down into, a few months into it, they're done checking you out. Now they've gone into full sabotage.
Yes.
I mean, full
Very
support.
much.
Full support. Is there anything that you'd like to stream that you haven't tried yet?
I have like 50 games on my list. I literally have a list written out, and I'm like slowly crossing them off.
Yeah. What would be what would be the one that would surprise your followers the most?
Oh, goodness.
One right out of left field.
I think the only one, which I've streamed it one time, I haven't been able to do it again. I ended up streaming Dream Daddy, which is by the game Grumps.
Right.
And they're like, what is this?
What are you doing?
Pretty much. It was totally... it's so different from any of the other ones I've done. And I'm like, I love Game Grumps a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I want to try their game. So I'm like, I'll do this.
It's like throwing a car from third gear to reverse.
Yes.
The engine just falls out, and like, what the world just happened?
Basically, yeah.
But did you enjoy the game? Did you enjoy playing it?
Yes. We got about halfway through. My best friend was doing it with me, and we just haven't had time. So it just kind of fell to the back burner, and I'm like, we'll come back to it later.
Yeah. it's there threatening your chat at all times.
Yes, it's like at some point you're going to be surprised by this game again.
As far as collaborations go, I mean, you start off with some friends already. Have you been able to pick up people to collaborate with, or are you sticking with a tight circle?
uh Recently we've been expanding out.
Mm.
I get asked pretty frequently now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did one, and then immediately it started picking up more, and it's like people started to realize, oh, she's okay with this. I'm gonna,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop in and ask. I'm like, that's totally fine. It's just we gotta go with the schedule here. Hang on.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't be up at 7 a.m. to do this particular game with you.
Yes. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they are not night streamers like I am.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, unless we can meet in the middle here, I can't do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
I can totally come and support you, but otherwise we can't collab because it just doesn't line up.
Yeah, that's something I don't think a lot of people realize is where you're at in the world and where you stream does make a difference in what you're able to do. I talk with folks who are in the Philippines or in Europe and all the other continents, and they would like to collaborate with people on the other side of the planet.
Yes.
But it doesn't. It's not always going to match up because, maybe noon is their midnight, or the other way around. It isn't so bad with interviewing because it's audio, but in set everything else up, it does take some time. Have you found that to be a problem? Time zones and where and what time you usually stream, has that been a problem for you?
Yeah, lately it started becoming one. The more people have started asking.
Mm.
Like, I have a few friends, they are in Australia,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a whole different day.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm like, okay, what time is it? Like, we had to put out a whole map to figure this out.
There's one time zone in Australia that's a half hour different. How do you even do that?
Yeah. Like, how does this work? I don't.
It's 6 o'clock here. It's 6:30 there. What?
Yeah. And it keeps falling through so far. And we're like, okay, we'll plan it for this day instead. So we might see that in a couple weeks. We'll see.
Yeah. That's why it is to get tough when you're, because the temptation is there to try to collaborate with everybody. Sometimes it's just not going to work, and the schedule's not going to work out. Sometimes when you do it, just the personalities aren't going to work out.
Right.
Are you a little worried about that as you start expanding your circle a little bit?
I've had a couple. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna move away from this.
Yeah.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
It's just we don't work well, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. Sometimes it is nobody's fault. Sometimes it's just that it just doesn't work. It just doesn't mesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it's just two different humors, or it's someone doesn't talk a lot, and that's okay. It's mostly that person will do story games that does most of the talking, and we end up playing something that doesn't have that much. So you start noticing, You
have a whole collaboration of people, 7 people who don't talk.
It's like, yeah, this is awkward now. Like,
somebody say something, please.
Right? It's like,
Yeah. I'd be sad on something like Lethal Company. Have like 6 people
right?
on, but they don't say anything. Well, this is
like how weird would that be?
Yeah, they're actually just playing the game and trying to trying to do all the goals and stuff. I didn't even know this game had goals.
It's like, wow.
Well, I mean, you're at the point now where you've got to kind of watch where you're stepping to. Sometimes, I imagine.
Yes.
You don't want to intentionally run yourself into a situation that now you have to go through the car wash to get clean. Are you
Yeah.
are you to the point now where you have to vet everything out before you do something?
Um, no, not really.
Mm.
Uh, it's mostly the Discord server is
Mm-hmm.
just watched
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, and we've had a incident recently that has already been handled,
Well.
and we didn't even have to do anything. Somebody else already started doing something about it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna help support you
Yeah.
in this.
I'll stand over here and watch it. I'll watch
It's like
and nod my head.
I'm gonna help you report this.
Uh,
But you've already done more than what I like. I don't need to be involved anymore
Yeah.
after the report. So
Yeah. Well, you said yourself that you're not exactly a person that goes out and seeks large crowds or anything like that, or getting in front of people. Has it been tough for you to interact with chat, and was it tough for you to start interacting with them?
yeah,
Mm.
it's it took a while to not be uh basically in a collab by myself. um, it was really awkward at first,
Yeah.
but everyone's like, just keep talking, even if it's random bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally fine. Um, and for some reason, people liked it.
The fools.
Yeah.
That says a lot about what you're doing for folks, and the fact that they support you and they keep coming back. They're coming back for you, not necessarily the games you're playing.
Right.
That's got to feel pretty good, no matter where you're coming from.
It does. It was surprising because it's basically taking this girl that grew up antisocial as crap and was mostly alone, and now people want to talk to me and actually hang out and all this stuff. It's different.
Yeah, has it carried over to off the internet? Have you been able to have you been able to keep it up when you're not online?
Yeah, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Streaming has kind of changed how I react to a lot of things now.
Yeah.
And I have a ton of social interaction, even offline, and I'm like, okay.
so you, in essence, it's kind of you kind of had a social blossoming in a way from this.
Yes.
Now you looking back, since you're doing this, looking back 2 years ago to where you are now, as far as that's concerned, how big a difference is it in your life?
Massively.
Mm.
I probably didn't speak at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
Chat knows a lot of my upbringing and stuff.
Yeah.
I got quiet after certain events in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed that way.
Yeah.
Until literally probably a year and a half ago.
Mm. Well,
and
events do shape how things come up, and I say this, and I mean it. It doesn't shape you. You're the triumph that comes from it.
Yes.
And so right now you are becoming a bigger and bigger triumph every time you turn on the microphone.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, this is something that obviously that was drawn up in your wheelhouse for you to take a hold of. It's
Right.
it's amazing that it's here for you. And like 20 years ago, it wouldn't have been. It
Right.
wouldn't have been here. You'd been calling 1-900 numbers and talking to the whatever you know boy band was going on or something. I don't know. I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I mean, that's the way it would have been. But the fact that it's here and you've been able to take advantage of it is wonderful. And I hope that we get to continue to see more of what you've got for us, SelBriel. I really hope so.
And I hope so. I don't plan on going anywhere,
Yeah.
so.
Well, if I were to say, what's your big point? What's the big thing on the horizon for your channel? Do you have one?
um, I am doing technically a re-debut,
Mm.
so people are gonna look forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
It'll probably be maybe January.
Mm-hmm.
At
Okay.
least that seems to be what the time frame.
Okay. I'm gonna write
So
that in the guest books. We get you on. Okay.
it's like, have you come back?
Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and set up that date
Um,
for you now. It's December 30th. Okay. Uh, so you kind of got plans. You know what you want to do, but you're not quite 100% how you're going to do it yet.
it's more we don't know when it'll launch.
Mm.
Um, we have a lot of the artwork and stuff
Mm-hmm.
already ordered, and it's being made. It just takes time.
Mm.
And that's why it would be delayed out so far into January.
Yeah.
A lot of people seem to be booked out all the way into October.
Yeah, that's true. But you want to do it
And
right
then-
too. I mean, this is pretty important. You want to have it done right.
Yes.
Mm.
So we need space to be like, okay, is this done correctly? And if there's a screw up, which I don't think there will be,
No.
I trust the people that I've ordered the things from. But if there is something, we can get it fixed up. Because time and money.
Oh, those things. They always show up, don't they?
Yes.
Stupid-
So in the meantime,
stupid
I have
time and money.
a P&G up, and this is where we're at for now.
Well, it's a pretty good place. I mean, it sounds like you got a good mindset going. You got a good attitude for it, and things are going your way.
Yeah.
I mean, did you think you were going to be here when you got started?
No. I thought I'd have like only a couple people,
Mhm.
and it would just stay that way. It would just be me and my friends goofing off,
Mhm.
and it wouldn't get very far, but it did.
And now I'm
And
not
I'm
really
like,
sure.
dang.
Yeah, so, and you look back like, what am I supposed to do with it now?
Right? I'm like, anytime I hit a new goal, I'm like, what do we do? How do I peak this now? I keep having to do things every couple months, you guys.
That's called humble bragging.
Pretty much. It's like I don't think of myself as like anything massive. And then people actually freak out if I message them on like Twitter or something. And I'm like, but I'm normal. And my Twitch isn't honestly that big.
Yeah.
But I guess on Twitter it's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it's a big deal for me to have you on. I do appreciate it. It's great to meet you. I
Thanks.
I appreciate folks who are listening live. You gotta appreciate what this person goes through just to get on today.
It's like I take a deep breath first.
practically had to relaunch a satellite just to get on.
I did.
It was pretty.
And it's still buffering, but we're doing it anyway.
Got hit by those SpaceX things and got twirled around a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine.
Just a little.
It's
Yeah.
fine. But when you get some of those big events going, please come back so we can let everybody know about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I got a lot going.
Yeah.
I got to read debut. I'm gonna throw a book out too for people to actually read.
Oh. Now we got to talk about that when it happens, because
yes.
I'm already envious of anybody who can write 2 sentences together and get it done. I will
literally stop mid-work day, and I'm like, hang on, I thought of something.
Oh, it's so painful to hear, because I've got these things bouncing around my head, and it hurts.
Yeah.
And I can't.
Hang on.
Yeah, please go on the paper. Just go out of my head and onto the paper. It doesn't work that way. I have to actually write it.
It's like, yes, and like people will see me frantically scribbling and like throwing paper around my desk.
Well,
and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I gotta write this. Hang on."
Grab a napkin and write this. And that's cool.
I've written on my hands, like.
I haven't done
just
that.
to transfer it later.
I haven't done that since high school with all the test answers on it.
Right.
And sometimes those weren't right either. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm glad things are going well for you.
Yeah.
And let's do some more soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.